Hey everyone in the Vlogmas universe, this is Shauna, Shauna Sweet Spot. I believe this is Vlogmas Day 20, but this is my second video that I am sharing in the community. Today's adventure with Shauna Sweet Spot was the $1 Million Pound Cake and the Sour Cream Pound Cake. Those are my two top sellers. We discussed the fact that we needed to prepare. Prep is the key when it comes down to making your bakes. Prep is the key. So I prepped 3 cakes, separate bowls, measured out everything but the liquid items. So the milk and stuff like that, definitely not until we do the recipe, but the importance of being prepared. So having all of your equipment, having all of your dry goods, your wet goods, your everything, having everything together, because what you don't want to do, especially when you are baking, is to slow down the recipe, the process, because usually you're using some sort of leavening agent. You have eggs, you've whipped up whatever. So for my pound cakes, you whip up the butter, which puts air into it, which, then allows your cake to rise. And if you don't do those things, if you don't have the correct equipment, like, you're using you can't use a hook when you're trying to, whip up butter. You either use your paddle or you use your, or your whisk. And just having like your measuring spoons right there so that you can just scoop and go, scoop and go. So emphasize that part of it. Preparation of your pans and things of that nature. For instance, making when you flour a pan, because I think we've all done this, but lately they've come up with sprays that are, you can release, it'll release whatever from the pan, and you don't need to use flour, you don't need to use butter, excuse me. But I have found that it comes out better if you use butter or some sort of oil, and then using cake flour. Now, cake flour is finer, more fine than AP flour, all-purpose flour. So with the all-purpose flour, if you put it in there with that butter, it's basically uncooked flour, and then it kind of coats your cake, and it's really kind of awkward. It's kind of a weird flavor. You don't want that. So you want to use the cake flour. It's like 27 times finer or more fine than AP flour. So you dust that pan, you knock out, all of the loose flour. Your pan is completely, covered. You put your batter in. I'm telling you, when you turn it over, beautiful. Also talking about timing and space. So eat a pound cake, or at least the pound cakes that I do, take at least between an hour and 40, an hour and 30 minutes. So I could have made them all at one time and then just kind of put them in the oven. For me, I personally want to give each cake its space so that, one is not more cooked than the other, because once you have two things in there, they're in competition. There's plenty of ovens where now you can put like your side and your turkey in the same one and it cooks. But, everybody doesn't have the fancy convection oven with the fan at the back. We got the regular ovens, top and bottom. So I go with that instead. Each cake, like I said, takes between an hour and 40, hour and 30 minutes. Put that in there, take it out, let it cool. So the process today was to do the first one, put that in 10 minutes before the other one is done, or the one in the oven is done. I start the other recipe, and mix that. So when I'm taking one out, I'm putting one in. So that kind of it's a time saver. I'm not like, oh, okay, I took one out, now start the process of mixing, because you're losing time. And if you're the only man in the man hours, you're losing time. So did that. Also, I used I had a sour cream cake and a $1 million cake. So the sour cream cake only used half as much butter, but it had the sour cream, so that balanced that out. And then we took them out, and it just basically showed everybody how, you know, how they look and what you can get out of it. These recipes, you can either get 1 bundt cake and 1 loaf pan, or you can get 4 loaf pans. So like if you are making or baking a gift for people at work, this particular recipe that I have, you could do 4 regular size loaves, or if you do a mini, then you could probably get like 8 to 10 out of this one recipe. It's pretty big, but it's really good. It's my go-to all the time. And then just basically, my last thing is learning that like you can either get a pound of butter, which is just the big block, or you can get the sticks of butter. Well, like I said in the video that you'll see on here, I was months old before I realized that all I had to do was cut that into 4 pieces, and that was the same as the 4 sticks of butter that I pay for at the store. And it's $2 cheaper. The block of butter was literally $1.50. The same brand, same butter, individually wrapped, almost $4.50. Same thing. So, you know, it was just a way to, you know, save your money. As far as butter is concerned, I know people don't want to touch it and this and that. But if you use butter like I use butter, then that's the thing that really works for me, because all I have to do is just, you know, when it's hard and cold, cut it into 4, wrap it in either wax or parchment paper, stick it in the freezer, label it, you're good to go. And I'm saving myself money and I'm saving myself time. So that was a good thing. But again, thank you for allowing me into this environment. Thank you for allowing me into this community so that I can learn and glean so much stuff. Like, seriously, I learned so much just watching, and the critiques. I'm just like, oh man, even though we're not doing the same thing, you know, you still learn. You still in a place of learning, and I appreciate it. So I thank you for any words of wisdom that you have, from, you know, lighting to equipment to whatever. I'm completely geeked out, all about microphones and you know, what I would need, you know, to get some things done here. Yeah, so I'm becoming a super fan of so many people, but it's really, really appreciated. Thank you so much. I will sign off like I sign off with everyone, from Shauna Sweet Spot. Sweet kisses. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great week. Alrighty.